Shalom. My name is Yair Davidiy. I'm speaking to you from Jerusalem, the capital of Israel. And I'm speaking to you on behalf of Brit-Am Hebrew Nations, an organization that researches the whereabouts of the lost tribes, and we have found them amongst Western nations. And we prove it, we work at proving it and propagating the message, publicizing the proofs that we have, and encouraging discussions on this, as well as spreading the evidence, spreading the message, and working to bring about reconciliation between Judah, that is the Jewish people, and Joseph, that is the 10 tribes of Israel, whom we find amongst Western nations. We are presently discussing the book of Esther. Esther tells the story of Mordecai and his niece, Hadassah. In Hebrew, her name was Hadassah. She was also given the name of Esther. Esther in Hebrew connotes hidden or secret, as well as other matters. And Esther became the queen of Persia, the virtual queen of Persia, to the king Ahasuerus, and she did not reveal her identity, nationality, until the end, until the end of the story. And she saved the Jewish people. The Jews at that time were dispersed, and most of them were under the authority of the Persians, in the Persian Empire, spread over a good portion of the known world, of the civilized world at that time. And most of the Jews were in their confines, and they were threatened with a decree of extermination. And Esther managed to save them. And we've discussed, given an outline at least, of this book in another talk. At present, we are going to discuss a few of the characteristics, or of the finer points in this work, and but this too is of great interest, and this is what we have, this is what we are doing. And one of the things is that Esther became the queen. She became the queen, the ruler, the virtual ruler of the Persian Empire. And Mordecai, her uncle, was also appointed to a high position of authority towards the end of the book. And so we have them ruling, or enabling, or the rulership. And this too is an aspect of the children of Rachel. Jacob the forefather, had 4 wives, 2 sisters, Rachel and Leah, and also 2 serving maidens of his wives, Zilpah and Bilhah. And out of these 4 children he gave birth, he begat children, and from these children came the 12 tribes of Israel. And the different sons of the mothers had the characteristics of their own, had a common denominator between them, amongst them. And so we find the sons of Rachel, Benjamin and Joseph, had an aspects of Malkut, was called Malkut in Hebrew, or the attribute of rulership, of being able to rule. This came into expression in the time of the first king of Israel, King Saul, in Hebrew Shaul. He was the first king, and he was from the tribe of Benjamin. And so too, Mordecai and Esther were descendants of Shaul, and they too ruled. They gave expression to the quality of rulership in the book of Esther, as we find recorded. And not only that, but the children of Rachel are destined to fight against, or act, not only fight against, but even before the final wars, to always act as adversaries, as counters, as if to say, to the forces of Edom, the forces of Esau, especially of Amalek. And in the story of Esther, the villain of the piece is someone called Haman. Haman, the descendant of Agag. And Agag was a king of the Amalekites in the Bible, in the time of Shaul. And this too is played out in the story, and we see this also in reality, in historical events in our own time. And we have an obligation to wipe out Amalek. Amalek is the arch enemy of the Israelite nation. Amalek represents the forces. He was once a physical being. He gave a rise to physical descendants who have influence, but we cannot actually identify who and who is not really a descendant of this person. But there are different qualities that he always has. So some of the qualities are that Amalek wants to exterminate the Jewish people. He wants to exterminate the Israelite nation, to destroy the Israelite nations. Also, he's in favour of homosexuality, of sexual promiscuity, and related matters. So these are aspects of Amalek. And we have an obligation in the Bible to destroy Amalek. Exodus 17 verses 14 to 16 says, the Lord said to Moses, write this as a memorial in a book and recite it in the ears of Joshua, that I will utterly blot out the memory of Amalek from under heaven. Moses built an altar and called the name of it, the Lord is my banner, saying, hand upon the throne of the Lord. The Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. So to Numbers 24:20. He looked on Amalek and took up his discourse and said, Amalek was the first among the nations, but its end is utter destruction. Deuteronomy 25 verses 17 to 19. Remember what Amalek did to you on the way when you came out of Egypt. How he attacked you on the way when you were faint and weary and cut off your tail, and those who were lagging behind, and he did not fear God. Therefore, when the Lord your God has given you rest from all your enemies around you in the land that the Lord your God is giving you for inheritance to possess, you shall blot out the memory of Amalek from under the heaven, you shall not forget. Now it says in this commandment to wipe out Amalek, it says that we have to remember what Amalek did to you on the way you came out of Egypt, and how he attacked you when you were faint and weary, and he cut off the tail, those who were lagging behind you, and he did not fear God. And he did not fear God, although Yair Elohim in Hebrew. It says he did not fear God, but that is how the Hebrew is read. But the Sifri, a midrashic work, a very early important work known as the Sifri, written by the sages of the Talmud, the Sifri reads it in a different way, an alternate way of reading it. And did not fear God. You did not fear God. So what is the message? The message is something pertinent to the Jews, but also to all Israelites, that it happens that we find in history, when the Jews are persecuted, usually they are not guilty. They are not guilty. They do not deserve to be persecuted as they are. But being human beings, you'll always find rotten apples when you have a great number of good ones. And so too, it happens here and there that the Jews, or prominent Jews, have done wrong, have not acted as they should have done, and it is if to say that they invited the persecution upon themselves. They deserve what they got. And not only do Gentiles say this, but also Jews themselves often say this. They often say that, to tell the truth, the Jews were not so good, the Jews deserved it, or maybe invited the persecutions to come upon them. So here we are told, this message is, we are told here that even if you did not fear God, you did not fear God, and you, as if to say, deserve to be punished, you still have to take vengeance on those who did the punishing, because it was not their task to do it, and God commands you to take vengeance, wipe out Amalek. So that is what we have to remember. May God bless you. Thank you.